Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm here. Uh, it is June 22nd, 2026. I want to start out today by discussing. We've got about 8 minutes until the opening bell. Uh, I got my first YouTube hate message this weekend. And I just want to say something, you know, very clear and, to everybody. I am not some professional full time content creator. Okay? Okay? I am not living my life, in an apartment with five other people. We're all making videos all day long and publishing this stuff and trying to make money. That is not me. I am a full-time professional trader, investor, okay? And I'm doing this to it's something to do, it's fun. It's, there's a why not dynamic to it. Why wouldn't I do it kind of thing. I don't want to live in regret. I don't want to look back and say, hey, you could have helped a bunch of people on YouTube and online, helping those people learn about the markets. And I've spent, over 20 years studying the markets and learning the markets. And I think that's just probably a part of life. You spend time learning something, and then at a certain point, you start to teach people. And it's kind of the circle of life type of thing. So, I haven't gotten any real hate comment or anything on YouTube until this weekend. My mom said to me when I was a kid, she said, "You either stand for something or you don't stand for anything at all." And I think Martin Luther King said the same thing. I think she got that from him, but my mom said it. But I think, regardless of who said it, they are absolutely right. Okay, if I get any crap from any of these, people out there that are trashing, content creators or whatever, if I get any hate messages or anything on YouTube in the future, I will not stream. I will go on strike. I don't care, because I'm not making any money from this. Okay, I don't need this crap type of thing. Okay, so I know this is different. I know other people aren't doing this, but listen, if you don't stand for something, you don't stand for anything at all. And if I get any hate messages, I'm going on strike. It's that simple. Okay? Because I've also gotten a lot of people that enjoy my videos and enjoy my streams, and I hope I'm helping them. Because I am a full-time professional trader, investor, day trader, etc., etc., etc. This is the only job I have. This is the only gig I have. That's it. So, if I'm getting, hate messages, whatever. I won't do it anymore. Okay? I don't give a crap. Okay? With all that said, we're going into the opening bell, and the S&Ps are up by 5. The Nasdaq's up by 134. I did post the links to my watch list in the video today. So you have the regular Doc W Trades watch list. It's over 180 stocks, and these are all stocks that I think are worth watching, that have strong fundamentals. Now, all of them don't have the best fundamentals, but all those stocks on the watch list have strong, good fundamentals. And then the hot list are stocks that are on the watch list that are at near buy points, ready to look for a buy entry. Okay? And I will update these lists every week, at least every week, and post them in the video description. So as we head into the bell, I'm just gonna call out what I see, what I'm doing. One thing I am going to do today is discussed this last week. I am going to do a swap trade with stock. Basically, sell some of my Palantir. Okay, I'm just going to sell some of my Palantir shares. I'm not going to sell all of it, but I'm going to sell a portion of it. Essentially about a third of it. I'm going to start out by selling a third of my Palantir, and then I'm going to add to Robinhood. I love the way Robinhood's tape action is, and I've discussed how Palantir's tape action is very weak right now, and I think you have to always listen to the market. And the market is saying with the tape action of Palantir versus the tape action of Robinhood is that the money's moving into Robinhood, it's coming out of Palantir. So I'm selling some Palantir and buying some Robinhood. And basically it's a swap trade. So the money that comes out of Palantir basically goes into Robinhood. And I'm in the camp of watering the plants and cutting the weeds. And that's what this market philosophy is when you sell the laggers and buy the winners. So we have about 57 seconds until the opening bell, and I am going to SpaceX is down about $10 today. Not good. I sold my SpaceX, and I'm not interested in looking to add to it or buy that stock at this point. It's actually now off by about $8 in the pre-market before the opening bell. And we are headed towards the opening bell. Interest rates are up today. That's not good. That could hinder the upward move in stocks today. And we are almost at the cash opening bell. And we are off to the races now. Off to the races. Any negative, any hate comments that go on my YouTube, I am going on strike, and you will not see me for a specific period of time while I go on strike. Maybe just a short video showing that I'm going on strike. That's it. No other content creators do that crap. So I'm not a real content creator, so I'm doing that stuff. Google's down. Palantir is down again. Down $1.50 on the open. It's popping though. Robinhood up, opening up a few cents. So that is more confirmation of the tape action that we discussed last week. Let's go and just sell these Palantir shares. Let me see here. Okay, so I'm going to sell some Palantir shares here. Palantir down even more. Now it's down below 126. That's more confirmation of what I'm thinking. I am going to sell with the stock right at just below 126 here. So I just sold some Palantir, and I'm going to immediately use that money and buy some Robinhood, baby, right at about $109 a share. Nvidia acting well. It's up a couple cents today. Vertiv is acting well. It's up. SpaceX is down a little bit, 175, so it's down a little bit from where it was in the pre-market. It's at 176 now. It's down, uh, it's down close to about $9 now. And so I got filled on Robinhood, so I sold some Palantir shares and bought some Robinhood shares. I am going to sell. Yeah, Marvell is trading down today, so that's a big down move in Marvell. I'm very bullish on Marvell in the long term, but it's down about 2.7% today. Big down move today. So keep an eye on Marvell, because I like Marvell. I'm very bullish on it. When you have a bullish stock that's down like this and it has a sell-off real sharp like this, I like it. Okay, I'm going to sell some more Palantir. And like I said, the interest rates were up. I noticed that the interest rates were higher as we went into the opening bell, and the market opened up, stocks opened up, but now they're selling off. Micron is up today nicely, and SanDisk is up nicely. Bloom Energy is up nicely. Corning's up nicely, but Marvell being down sticks out to me. So let's sell some more. Sell some more Palantir here. Okay, sold some more Palantir. I'm going to buy more Robinhood. This is just a basic swap. That's what I like to do with shares of stocks. I sell the laggers, I add money to the winners. And Robinhood had a big sell-off over the past couple months, and now it's starting to act really strong again. So I love this. I'm essentially buying a stock on a recent sell-off as it's acting very strongly, coming out of the lows. This is what I like to buy the best. I'm buying Robinhood right around $109 per share. So let's see here. I'm actually going to try to buy the other tranche of shares at $108.50 a share. So let's see if I could get filled at $108.50. Now the stocks are bouncing back again. Nvidia is acting very, very strong. Vertiv is acting strong. Micron's acting strong. SpaceX is lower. Bloom Energy is stronger. My Robinhood is up, and my Palantir is getting beaten down like a redheaded stepchild. Marvell is bouncing back a little bit. It got close to $301 a share. I think it got to $301 a share. Now it's bouncing back at 306. But guys, I'm delusional, okay? I'm delusional. So don't take what I have to say with any grain of salt. Just take everything I have to say with a grain of salt, because I'm delusional, okay? I feel good about this trade that I'm doing, swapping Palantir for Robinhood. When you feel good about a trade like that, it can be good. Palantir being down $3 basically confirms what my analysis over the weekend is that, it's being sold and Robinhood's being bought. I have Robinhood calls too. And now Palantir can bounce after I sell the shares. That's the market right there. Just like, telling me how dumb I really am. So it's okay if I put myself down, but I don't want people on YouTube putting me down. I'll go on strike. I don't care. I don't have to do this stuff. You gotta love that. Palantir bouncing back right after I sell those shares. At least Robinhood's going up as well. As far as new calls to buy, some new trades, fast money trades to buy. I have Bloom Energy calls. I have Robinhood calls. SanDisk is acting well, so you could buy some SanDisk. I have Micron calls. I have Vertiv calls. So all the calls that I have in various stocks, those stocks are acting well. So I'm just gonna continue to hold on to them. I'm not gonna add to any new calls in any newer positions. I did the swap, but that's about it. Apple's acting really strong. Amazon's really weak. I have Amazon shares and I need to sell covered calls on Amazon and I can't catch a break. As this stock just, I thought I needed more of a rally. It rallied on Friday, but I needed more and it's selling off today. So I can't get a break in Amazon to sell calls on Amazon. SpaceX, sell it off very strongly. It was at 176, now it's down to 172. Getting hit hard. Now my Bloom Energy calls are up 144%. Okay. And the way it's acting right now, continuing to go higher and higher, I'm going to stay with it. So I'm basically going to do a simple roll in these calls. I'm going to stay with it and just roll these calls. Now these calls. Okay, so I'm gonna roll these calls in Bloom Energy, and I'm gonna not just sorry. At this point, I'm just gonna roll up these calls. So I bought the 302.50 calls in Bloom Energy that expire on June 26th, and I'm gonna roll these up by selling these calls that are up 144% on the 302.5 expiry strike price calls. And I'm going to buy the 345 calls that expire on June 26th. So I'm going to sell the 302.50 calls that expire on June 26th and buy the 345 calls that expire on June 26th. This trade is I'm going to collect a credit. But if you want to buy the Bloom Energy calls and you don't already own them, and it's just a new trade for you, You can buy these 345 calls that expire June 26th. And hold on, I'll get you guys the price to pay. Okie dokie. So I bought these 345 calls. They're trading for $20.95. They're bid at $19.30. So right around $20, you could buy these calls. The offer is $20.95. The spread is decent in Bloom Energy. It's not like super tight, but the stock is just ripping up so much. You can make the money back, but you have to be prepared for some spread in Bloom Energy calls if you buy the calls. That's why I actually think that it's better just to buy the stock with Bloom Energy. I have covered calls in Bloom Energy, so these. Actually, I take that back. I have a short call in Bloom Energy, so I have a spread in Bloom Energy. So I'm buying the call, but I'm also short a call in Bloom Energy against it, and that's further out in time, and I'm long the stock. So I have a diagonal call spread in Bloom Energy, and I'm long the stock. And I misspoke earlier. I said I had covered calls in Bloom Energy. I did, but I bought those back because those covered calls that I was selling to Bloom Energy were just losing so much money. So basically, I could have a call spread in Bloom Energy, but I can't have just straight covered calls in Bloom Energy because the stock just is ripping up so much. And you can see, you can take a look at Bloom Energy. Go to the trade tab. Go to the trade tab here. Take a look at these options. You got 146% implied volatility for the options that expire today, and a $44 expected move for the week. That is huge. Stock's up 15 bucks today, so that expected move makes sense. Let's see here. Marvell was trying to bounce back, but right now it's not. It's testing that $300 level. It's interesting as Tesla is acting pretty well and SpaceX getting sold. Let's see here. And I have Marvell calls, and now with Marvell breaking the $300 level, I am going to basically I'm going to sell these Marvell calls. So I'm selling the Marvell calls that I bought. So I'm selling these calls for a loss. I'm open to getting back into Marvell. I just have to close out this trade because it's got over the 50% loss level, and I just need to get out of it, cut the losses here, and wait for another entry point. And I look at the stocks on my hot list today. All of them are up. Almost all of them are up. A couple stocks are down today, just a few. The stocks that are down that are on my hot list are Rocket Labs, Google, ARM Holdings, Marvell, eBay, and CoreWeave. Other than that, all the stocks on the hot list are trading up today. And the stocks that are having the biggest move on my hot list today are Bloom Energy, which we've talked about, and Dell, Fix Comfort Systems, Hood, which we like, as I bought shares on Hood with Hood, Intel, and GLW also up there for Corning is having a nice move today. So those are the best movers on the hot list today. All those, so you can look at the hot list and look at the names that are, because all those names are at or near a buy point for this week. You can then look at those names that are moving up on the day, the highest, the most biggest move on the day, and deduce the best opportunities to buy calls or get long. So that's what I think the best way to use it. And Caterpillar's up a decent amount today, almost close to 2%. So all those names that I just rattled off, Nvidia's up by close to 1% on the day. Right around it's at $212.70. So that's a good point, I think, to buy the stock. So all those names that I rattled off are the best candidates for this week and today specifically that you can get in and buy some shares. AMD's up 3.3 now 3.4%, up over $10. Up over $18 on the day. That is something to take a look at if you want to buy some calls at AMD. So Bloom, Dell, Vertiv, Sterling Infrastructure, AMD, Hood, and Fix Comfort Systems are the top stocks. And Intel are the best stocks moving. And then Caterpillar and Corning. Those are the names, my favorite names that are jumping off the screen today. Taiwan Semiconductors up 1.3%. Decent. Take a look at that today. But those are the best stocks that are moving. So that are at or near a buy point. So those stocks are popping off today. Oh, also Credo, CRDO. This stock is popping today. And right after I close my call spread at Marvell, the stock is bouncing back. You gotta love that, right? I sell the shares in Palantir, bounces back. Sell the sell the call spread in Marvell, bounces back. So everything, what is working well today? Nvidia, Vertiv, I have Apple shares, so that's working well. Bloom Energy is working well today for me. Robinhood, I've added shares to Robinhood. The stock continues to go up, and Corning's going up today as well. So I got a number of shares that are working well for me today, but I have a few trades that are just not good. The market's sticking it to me with Palantir and Marvell today. That's the key. You can't let this stuff phase you. I don't really give a crap. Whatever, you know. I make a call, you know. I'm right. I'm wrong with the market. Doesn't care. I get. It's interesting. I get more emotional, I guess, about a hate comment on YouTube than a position. I don't care about my trades. You know, I'm gonna be right. I'm gonna be wrong. Whatever. And I think that is one key aspect. Okay, I'm gonna talk about this a little bit here. There's so many traders out here that say, professional, like good, great traders that say, don't get emotional. You can't get emotional. They're absolutely right about that. But from someone that's experienced, coming from someone, you know, with me who's been doing this for over 20 years, the concept, the idea of just getting to a point where you don't feel emotions with your trades, that is impossible to do. So when someone says you can't get emotional, especially an experienced trader, they're absolutely right about that. But personally, to get to a point where, because when I first was learning how to trade, and people said, you know, you can't react to your emotions, you can't get emotional. I personally assumed that they would get that I had to get to a point where I didn't feel emotions with my investing and trading. However, over time, I realized that when you're gambling, and it doesn't matter what you want to call it, at the end of the day, we're all gambling when we take risk. We're gambling, okay? So any type of trading, investing, it's just, at the end of the day, it's gambling. The idea that you can get to a point where you don't feel emotions when you're investing, that's not gonna happen. What you have to try to focus on and try to get to is become comfortable being uncomfortable. And because when you have a big position and something is going against you and you need to step up and actually increase your position or make a big trade in a bold moment, you're gonna feel uncomfortable to a certain extent. You're going to feel all types of emotions. Then you're going to feel a rush of emotions when you make money and you need to take profits, and it feels like you just want to hold on and add to it. Emotions are gonna happen. You have to become comfortable feeling uncomfortable, and even though get used to trying to make the best decisions that you can make, even though you feel certain emotions that make you feel sick sometimes and disgusting. And that's kind of where the George Costanza principle comes from. You know, it's from the old Seinfeld episode where George goes, I should just do the opposite of my natural instinct. You know, if you know, if I do the opposite of my natural instinct, then I should be right. Because when you put on a big position and the market's selling off, and it's a bold move, especially when everybody's bearish and the market's going down further and further and further, and it's at a point where you have to add to a position to buy stock in something. Usually when it's a good trade at a good price, it doesn't feel good. It feels bad. And you have to kind of build an emotional memory to those occurrences when you have to put on a trade at the right time when you feel bad, and you have to get used to feeling bad and become comfortable feeling uncomfortable. Become comfortable feeling uncomfortable, because when you make a good trade at a good price, usually it feels a sickening, disgusting, horrible feeling. But usually that opposite natural instinct turns out to be right. So with all that said, that's what I wanted to say, is that don't just try to negate your emotions outright. Build an emotional memory so that you build a memory of emotions, and so that you feel when you felt a certain way, the market did this. When you felt a certain way, the market did that. And you can use those feelings as cues to your trading. And that's how you develop a gut feel. It comes with time. Seeing what stocks did when you bought them or sold them, seeing what markets did when you felt a certain way. And you develop that emotional memory in time, relating what markets did, what stocks did, when you made money, when you lost money, and how you felt when the markets moved a certain way, when stocks moved a certain way, when you made money or lost money. So you have to build that emotional memory, and that takes time. But going about the market just saying, oh, I'm going to try to not feel any emotions, don't do that. Become in tune with your emotions and build an emotional memory Rolodex in your mind of keeping track of what you felt when the markets did this, what you felt when a stock did that, what you felt when you made this much money, what you felt when you lost this money, what you felt when you bought a stock at a perfect price, all that stuff. And in my personal experience, what I started doing around 2015 is journaling. Basically writing this stuff down, and to this day, I still keep a journal. Just write stuff down every day. I usually don't even go back and read it. I just like to write it down, because when you write stuff down, it goes to a different part of the brain that allows your brain to remember things better. So that's my advice for today. That was not a tangent that I was expecting to talk about, but when people talk about like, oh, I have that gut feel, that's how you get a gut feel. It's from experience. It just takes time. And you'll notice as time goes by, you'll get that feeling. You're like, oh, I remember I felt this when that happened. Huh, interesting. You start to think about how you felt then and how you feel now to kind of contribute to your decision making. That's gut feel. That's building a gut feel with the market. So that's why, like, when you first start out, you're not going to have any gut feel. It's just not going to happen. But to get through that learning curve, don't try to just negate the gut feel completely. Recognize it. Build upon it. Understand that gut feel will become a weapon for you and help you in the future. But it will take years to build a good gut feeling with the market. Look at Tesla, man. I love this. Tesla's going up as SpaceX is going down. I just lost a subscriber. Maybe me saying that I'm going to go on strike pissed somebody off. I don't care. Whatever. I really don't give a crap. Let's see what else is going on. Marvell continuing to bounce back. I may have to get back into Marvell. So you may want to sell your calls right now. Take a look at Tesla. The stock is moving big. It's up 3%. Let's take a look at the options to see what's going on with these options with Tesla. Got 491,000 calls traded, 261,000 puts. Put to call ratio is 0.53. That's very bullish. And you've got a lot of calls being bought. 30% of calls being bought. And majority of puts are being sold. So you have a lot of puts being sold, a lot of calls being bought. That's very bullish for Tesla. Let's take a look at its redheaded stepchild, SpaceX stock. 137,000 calls traded, 106,000 puts, 0.77 put to call ratio. So not as bullish, obviously. And you've got a lot of calls being traded at the bid. So calls are being sold and a lot of puts being bought. This continues to be the pattern in SpaceX. They are selling calls to buy puts. And my assumption is that investors that were in early stage, they were early stage investors in SpaceX that are unable to yet sell shares. They are locking in profits by selling calls and buying puts. Basically doing the zero cost collar strategy as a way to hedge their bets, being long shares and lock in profits essentially at the same time. It's basically a synthetic way of hedging your bet and locking in your profits with when you can't sell your shares. So I think that's what's going on. The idea that SpaceX was going to have some gamma squeeze idea, that's not happening. I was totally wrong about that. It's not happening. I thought it was a possibility that it could happen if retail latched on, but that's not happening. And a majority of the options activity is zero cost collar type of strategy where they are selling calls and buying puts. And that, I think, is from investors locking into profits. But they are buying calls in Tesla. So we have Micron earnings this week. I posted a video this week about semiconductors and how these chip stocks they're continuing to go higher, but they're losing momentum. And it's very clear that they're losing momentum in their oscillators. So I posted a video on my YouTube about that. It's also on Substack. So we have earnings from the Micron this week. And we have these stocks super extended, not just Micron, but all these chip stocks super extended as momentum is falling. So that is the landscape that we have coming up this week. Let's take a look at Micron. It's up 52, almost 53 points today. Let's take a look at the options. We got 85,000 calls traded versus 79,000 puts. Put to call ratio is about the same. So the amount of calls and puts traded and put to call ratio is very, very close. And about equal amount of calls and puts being bought and sold, and 70% of calls and puts being traded in between. So you can't really read into the calls, and you really can't read into the puts. So collectively, the options activity in Micron is pretty balanced. Maybe a little bit to the bullish side with the put to call ratio of 0.92. But the stock has been bid up. So institutions keep buying the stock, basically. But when we take a look at the momentum here, you see the slow line's a little lower than it was before. So it's basically, yes, it's trending higher, but the slow line's a little lower than it was before. So you have a technical divergence here for me in the oscillator. The stock is at highs, but the oscillator is not at highs. And then the fast line is also below the previous highs. That is a divergence. Also, more confirmation of the divergence. The rate of change is below where it was before. So that is a clear confirmation on multiple oscillators that the on this daily time frame, momentum is flowing. However, go to the weekly chart. You have momentum highs on the fast line, momentum highs on the slow line, and the what is interesting is the rate of change is below the highs. Yeah, it's coming off of the highs. So you actually have a divergence forming in the rate of change on the weekly chart. So that's something to keep an eye on. But for the most part, you have highs in the fast line, highs in the slow line. So momentum is continuing to go up in the weekly chart, but is diverging on the daily chart. And we will see what happens with this rate of change and how this develops. But I think you're starting to see a divergence form a little bit on the rate of change on the weekly chart. And I think that's just a carryover of the divergence that you see in the dailies, in the daily chart in Micron. But obviously, you know, grand scheme of things, Micron is super overbought. It needs a pullback. It needs to take a break. And now Palantir is getting sold here. So it can't hold a small rally. Yeah, I may sell some more Palantir. The fact that it can't hold that rally is just more confirmation. Trying to sell some more Palantir here. And as I speak, Robinhood is pulling back a little bit, so I'm not going to buy Robinhood right away. I'll wait for it a little bit. So I have a resting order to sell some more Palantir. What I am going to do is roll my Micron calls up. So I'm long Micron calls. And I am going to roll these Micron calls up. So the Micron calls that I'm long are the 1100 calls that expire June 26th. They're up by about 56%. So I'm going to sell these calls that are up 56%. They expire this week, June 26th. 1100. I'm going to sell these calls and I'm going to roll them up to the 1185 calls. And the calls that I'm buying are the 1185 calls that expired this Friday. They're going for $84, 84.05. So they're expensive. I wonder if Micron's going to announce a split. I think that may happen. You know, we're getting to the point where it's tricky for a smaller investor to participate in buying calls in a stock like Micron. You know, so I think it could happen. I definitely think that they can announce a split right before the stock kind of goes into a correction period. So I rolled those calls, and the calls that I bought are the 1185 that expire on June 26th. I'm going to roll my Vertiv calls too. Roll these calls, sell the 335 calls for a profit, and I am taking profit of these calls. They're up about 33%, and I'm going to be buying the 345 calls that expire this Friday on June 26th. I'm buying the 345 calls. These calls are trading for about $13. The roll is going to be about a $6.20 credit. I'm going to try to get a $6 credit on these. You can buy those 345 calls that expire this Friday, June 26th, for about $14 per contract. And it's about a $1.30 spread. So Amazon continuing to sell off. I need this stock to bounce back. I need it to bounce back. So any bounce now after this selling that I have see today in Amazon, I'm going to try to be aggressive in selling calls, but it's down today. You're smashing a lot of Mag 7 stocks. Meta's down, Amazon's down, Microsoft is down, Google's down. And CoreWeave is down. That was a stock that was on my hot list, but it's down about $4, so you can't really look to buy that today. Still trying to sell some more Palantir, and then I will buy the pullback in Robinhood. Wow, Palantir's still getting smashed. Still, I can't get a fill. Even if I keep lowering the bid, I should have sold these shares earlier. But it's basically breaking below the day low and the low from Thursday, and we are trading right there, right at $124 a share. So I sold some Palantir. Now Robinhood is backing off here. I am going to now put in a bid to buy more Robinhood here to add to this swap trade. I'm trying to buy some more hood. I've given back about half of my gains for the day. Did I get filled on Robinhood? I think I did. Giddy up. So now we're at the point where only Tesla is the big cap Mag 7 stock that is up on the day. So yeah, Palantir's getting smashed, Nvidia's getting smashed, Amazon's getting smashed, Broadcom's getting smashed, but Micron's holding steady, Bloom's holding steady, SpaceX is getting smashed, Meta is getting smashed, Google's getting smashed. I just sold I just sold more Palantir shares, so the stock should bounce back soon. If you want to scalp it to the upside, I think now's a good time to buy it. Or I don't think that it's a good time to buy it, but the market, doing the opposite of what I think is a good time to buy it here. Apple is up today. It's having a good day, up $2.65. Marvell has bounced back since I closed those calls. It has bounced back and it continues to inch up right at $307 a share. It got up to 310, but now it's at $307 a share. So it's looking good. I may get back into Marvell soon. Uh, Keeping an eye on it. Well, I guess that's it for me, everyone. You have a wonderful day. Take care. I'll be back on Wednesday. Tuesdays, I can't stream. I've got stuff to do. There is a possibility I could stream on Tuesday afternoon, but uh, I'm not gonna count on it. Don't count on that. But I'll be back for sure on Wednesday. Take care, everyone. Have a good day. Good trading. Bye bye.